Hello. Hello. Hey guys, how are you? How are you? Welcome to day two of the JP Reset Challenge. How are you? How are you on day two? Get a look at you guys and see how you're doing. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Susie. Susie's got thumbs up. All right. What's going on, guys? How are you? There's Janet. Hey, Janet. It's that familiar background that I see so often with Paul. Hey, Paul. All right, guys, what's going on? It's day two. Hey, Denny. How are you? There's Diane. Hey, Diane, what's happening? All right, guys. There's Sally. Sally. Hey, Ruth, welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, guys. Susan's got a really bright, shiny pink color for a very, at least in Salt Lake City, a very dull day. So it's Susan, it's good to see that pink like sparkling up the dullness of a February in Salt Lake City, Utah. All right, guys, how are you? Welcome to day two. I'm really happy to be here. Day one, probably the single most important thing that you'll look at, and that's how or what is your meaning in what is your meaning toward things? What meaning are you putting on things right now and how you can control that meaning by using what? You can tell me the three things that you can utilize and that impacts everything. What are the three things that you absolutely can't control? What are they? Let's see how you guys were doing for you. If you want to change the meaning in something, if you want to use the control you have, right? And the things that you can control, what are the three things that you, all right, Jan, I'm going to ask you to go a little deeper than attitude. The three things, what are they? What are they? What are the three things that you have control of that absolutely impacts how you view things, how your meaning of things, what you look at, how you look at it? What are the three things? Sally, you've been here before. Yep. Susan, you got it too. You guys got it. Denny, you're in. Yes. Focus, and language. Focus, what you focus on has massive impact, right? Where you focus, what you focus. That creates the meaning of everything. The triad, right? We talked about the triad. How you use your language and your body. And that's everything. Everything is filtered through those three things. If you want to control your life today, say if you want to live in a beautiful state today, even if things aren't going, you want to live a life that is of your choosing. If you want to make your choices and not just be obligated, that you focus on focus, that you look at focus, your physiology, and your language. And that's everything. And how you show up in those three things is so much. So I asked you all to write a letter of commitment to yourself because I said, I want you to get some leverage. I want you to get to a threshold, not just satiated. I don't want you just satiated, like, yeah, I know I need to make a change in my business. I'm supposed to, I should, right? And then you get back in that obligation cycle. I'm supposed to take my business on. I know I need to follow up with people. I should like all that. Like, no. Hang on. We want to eliminate that. We want it to be a choice. We want you guys to choose the experience. What's your choice in all this? What's your choice on this? Because we know if you're in obligation, then you end up in fatigue, the old cycle, and you don't like that old cycle. You're tired of the old cycle. The new cycle is I choose. How do I choose? Through focus, physiology, and language, but also to get an absolutely core or a key. I call it a core or a key. I don't know what I call it, but I'd say to get yourself in creating some sort of leverage. And to get out of satiated and to get into real leverage is to go, here's the pain if I don't make a change, and here's the pleasure if I do. Here's the pain if I do not. Somebody wrote in the Facebook group I saw in there that, hey, I'm not sure what you mean by this or what I need to do with this call to action. What's my call to action? And it's like the call to action is to get leverage. The call to action for the hero or the heroine, the first thing is to get leverage and go, here's why this is important. So my call to action or to you was to say, here's all the pain and all the pleasure so that I can get leverage to make my business a priority. Because some of you are like, yeah, I don't really need to make it a priority. Or I'm in the same old pattern or thought process that I've been in for years, which is I'm really not making it a priority. I think I am because I'm obligated and I'm supposed to and I should, but how do I get to a place where I've hit a threshold? And that's where that letter of commitment where you said, here's all the pain and here's all the pleasure. And this is why I'm committed to doing it different today. And now you can use focus, physiology, and language to change that and alter it so that you get out of the obligation cycle and you get into a choice cycle. How many of you would like to choose to take responsibility for your business instead of it feel like an obligation? Instead of it feel like you're supposed to or you need to or you instead of me being the one that's getting you motivated or somebody else getting you motivated, or heaven forbid you end up getting drugged by life to then finally make it a priority. To be like, I'm choosing it today. I'm making a choice. It's a different experience. That was day one. Today, well, guess what? If you're going to get called to an adventure as a hero or a heroine, whichever you decide you want to call yourself, but you are, by the way, and playing small does not feel good. In fact, you guys even told me yesterday, Brandon, playing small is exhausting. It's actually not even like easy or simple. It's exhausting. Playing less than I'm capable of is tiring. I have to keep up the have to. I have to keep up the should. I have to keep up the posturing. It's exhausting. I don't want to do it anymore. I have to survival. I want to play big. When you play big, it's a lot less exhausting than playing small. Let me repeat that because some of you really need to get that into your system. Not just know it, but experience it. Remember the 3 levels of mastery: cognitive, experiential or emotional mastery, and then actually physical mastery, doing it. But being in a place where you're playing big is a lot less exhausting than playing small or survival. It just is. Survival is overrated. Survival is way overrated. Playing big is way more fun. Is it risky? Absolutely. Is it different? Yes. But it's a lot less exhausting. So we're playing big. And you said, hey, I said yes to this playing big by identifying my pain and my pleasure, by writing a letter of commitment to myself and saying, here's why I'm committed in my business. And then if some of you haven't already, I'll set up another challenge for you. And then it's to go live and tell your team. Tell your team your letter of commitment. What's all the pain and pleasure? And you let your team know. You're like, Brandon, I have a team of 5. Okay, great. Maybe you have a team of 500. Maybe you have a team of 5 million. But whatever, you deliver that to your team and say, here's my letter of commitment. Not just so they'll get excited, but say that so they know you're committed. So that they know, hey, here's the leverage you created. Maybe they'll create some of that for themselves. But all of a sudden you get on board You get excited, and the psychology of the leader dictates what goes on throughout the rest of the team. And it'll impact some of the people that you have an impact over. And if you were in part of the VIP lab yesterday, we talked a lot about expectations. And again, focusing on what you can control, that's letting go of your expectations. So step 2 is, guess what? Now, again, step 1, you have to say yes to the adventure. What's yes? Yes is, I'm committed to making my business a priority. And for some of you, you're like, Brandon, I didn't come here for my business. That may be the case. You're like, maybe I came here for my relationship. My relationship is a priority. Or maybe some of you came here because it's your relationship with yourself is a priority. And your self-image is just what is the key. I don't know whatever that is, but the call to action gets like, I'm in it. Here's my call to action, and I'm committed to this. What's going to happen when you commit to something? When you commit to taking your business on, or you realize now I'm at a threshold and now I'm moving forward, or you start to create momentum in your business and you start the process of actually engaging and doing things. How many of you did stuff yesterday in your business? How many of you did stuff? Isn't that now let me ask you, how many of you did things a little bit more productive and effective than you normally would because you were on this call? Why? What happened? Awareness. That's it. It was in front of you. You're like here looking at it. It's there. I put it in front of you for sure. So it wasn't necessarily you're volunteering, because not all heroes say yes at first, but it's because I put it in front of you. And then you went about it differently and you took action differently. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? Now, what did you need? You needed it in front of you. You needed the accountability. You needed the repetition. You needed somebody giving you the exercises in front of you. Not because there's something wrong with you, because you're human. That's how we learn. If it's not in front of me, I'm not conscious of it. It just sits in the background. But as long as it's in front of me, then I'm aware of it. I'm conscious of it. It's like if you've ever ridden a horse. So if you've ridden a horse, you know who's ultimately in control. And you go, the horse. Ooh, not if you're a good rider. Or if you're a good rider, you know that the horse is going to react to certain things. You know the things that trigger that horse. You know the things that activate that horse. You know the ways in which the horse is going to behave in certain situations. You know the horse like the back of your hand, right? If you're a good rider, I grew up riding horses, so I got sick of getting thrown off in an onion field on my back. By the way, it doesn't feel very good when you land on onions, right? On your back, right? Even when you're only, 12, 13 years old, it sucks. Eventually you learn, I don't want to go through that pain anymore. So I got to figure out how these horses work. You start getting really good at figuring out what's going to trigger the horse, what's going to activate the horse. So you get good at navigating the horse in those situations. What am I liking the horse to here? Your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is you, the rider. And if you're the best rider in the world, you're aware of the subconscious. You're aware of the things that activate you and trigger you. What do you know you need? I know in order for me to take certain things on, it's got to be in front of me. I know to make my relationship with Michelle every day a priority, it's got to be in front of me, or I won't. I got to know to make sure that when I'm triggered in certain situations in my business, I know myself well enough to know what's going to activate me. I know what's going to set me off. I know when I sit there and I'm hustling all day and everybody tells me no. I know that's going to activate me, and I know how to navigate it. So part of this whole process, guys, is identifying that your brain is your subconscious is going to go into, and to be able to know what activates you, to be able to know what triggers you, to be able to know what creates issues or struggles for you, to be able to know what gets you in a good place. Knowing yourself becomes critical in your business. You knowing you and knowing what triggers you, what activates you, what gets in your way. Yesterday, I helped you become aware of some things. And I said, listen, you always have control of your focus, physiology, and language. But knowing your subconscious is beautiful. And knowing how it activates and triggers, knowing that you might need to keep things in front of you, right? In order to take and make your business a priority. Because it will so easily not. Because you get stuck in other things. Life will show up. And then you get focused in old patterns. Well, I'm frustrated with them because they're not doing it. Oh, wait, that's an expectation. I can control that. What am I focused on? I control what I focus on. Like sometimes, not sometimes, we need repetition in our lives to make changes. And I'm going to tell you right now, 5 days is not enough repetition to make you make all the changes in your life. It's why we have way more that we do beyond this. It's why we have academies and why we have our ELP program that some of you are part of. It's why we have this new program that we just launched for all NMDs, right? You guys know about this, hopefully. If you're an NMD, you know about it. It's why we create some of these things. These programs are designed to give you the repetition necessary to make changes in your life for good. So you get to know your horse so well. Because if you don't, who's in charge? The horse. And some of us are just blindly walking around in our business while the horse is controlling us. And imagine being a rider on a horse, just flopping around and like holding on for dear life. If you've been in a horse like that situation, you know the powerlessness of it. Think about being in life like that. I'm just holding on for dear life. Life's happening. It's all around me. I'm a slave to my subconscious. That is no way to live. We got to be in control, guys. We got to be in control of our conscious minds. Sorry, we got to be in control of our subconscious by being able to identify and being clear about how that horse is going to respond. That's just knowing yourself. And you know your business, it's 80% mental. It's 80% psychology. It's 20% mechanics. That's why I don't talk a lot about the mechanics. I don't teach you the mechanics. That's not my gig. That's not my game. There's people out there that teach it. They'll teach you all the social media tricks. They'll teach you how to write the right scripts. They'll teach you the 20%. I don't do that. I'm about the 80%. I'm about the mental part of it. I'm about teaching you how to get to know your horse so you can navigate. And I'm not calling you horses, right? I'm calling your subconscious brain a horse. Your subconscious brain is a horse. We'll talk about more animals today, more farm animals, cows and buffaloes. We'll talk about those today. See if you want to be a cow or a buffalo. I think you guys know who you want to be, right? Some of you have walked down that path with me today or with me before. So listen, how's survival brain directing you? The first thing I asked you in the worksheet today, you're going to go on a road of trials. You're going to be challenged. That's it. When you say yes, you're going to get challenged. There's obstacles. There's problems. There's opponents. There's issues. There's struggles. Today is about getting to know them. It's about understanding what is going to be in your path. If your conscious mind jumps on the back of a horse and starts to ride, guess what's going to be that's going to come along the way? Snakes, barbed wire, other horses, cars, other animals, obstacles, challenges, weather. We're going to go on a horseback ride. We're going to be challenged with these things. When you go on your trip to making your business a priority, there's obstacles, there's struggles, there's issues. We call those the road of trials. What do most people do? What do most people do when they have the road of trials in them? When things get difficult, what do most people do? It's too hard. And then they go back to square one, back to the call to adventure. I'll go back there and someday I'll say yes to it. Okay, I finally said yes to it. And then they face the road of trials and it's too hard and it's too difficult. So they leave it and they go back from the beginning again. You will always, always have some sort of imposter syndrome if you do not face your road of trials. If you keep going back to the start, you're bypassing the difficulties. You're bypassing the struggles. You can't do it. I don't know who's trying, but I know some of you are. I know you're trying to bypass the difficult stuff and you just want it to work out. I just want my business to work. I just want it to pay off. I just want people to say yes. I just want it to all work. I know. But guys, you have a part in this and your trials you must face. You must face the opponent, the difficulty, the struggle, your issues. You got to do it. And part of that opponent, one of the biggest opponents is your survival brain. Because it doesn't want to do what's hard. It doesn't want to do what's painful. It doesn't want to look at what the struggle is. So one of the opponents that you're going to have on the road to trials is your rebel. You all have a rebel brain, right? How many of you do not want to be controlled or told what to do by anyone? Yeah. What if I said to you, from now on, you're going to? How many of you are like, hairs on the back of your neck stood up and you went, nope. Nope, not even close. See ya. I'm out. You have a rebel brain. It doesn't want to be controlled, even from you. So let's face it, when you tell yourself to do things, your rebel brain can show up, especially if it's I have to, I must, I should, I need to. Right? It's like when I go to Starbucks coffee, right? And I'm looking at all those things and all the muffins and scones and everything in the window of Starbucks coffee. And I hear something inside of me say, you can't eat that. My rebel brain says, oh yeah, watch me. In fact, I'll eat one of each if I really want. Don't tell me what to do. I'm like, I'm rebelling against my own cause. Those things are not good for me to eat. And I'm rebelling against my own cause to not eat them. My cause is to be at my ideal weight and be healthy. And I'll rebel against those things because I don't want to be controlled. Think about the things you tell yourself to do. In fact, before you even think about you, think about your team right now. Think about your team. When you tell them what to do, and they're like, I know I need to do it. I know, I need to call people. And you're like, you tell them what to do. And they don't want to be controlled. And think about when they tell themselves what to do. And you're like, I'm so frustrated with them not following through with what they tell themselves to do. You know why they're not? Because they have rebel brain. The same reason you don't follow through all the time. You rebel against your own cause. Right now, in this first in your worksheet, it's how is brain directing you in your business right now? How is rebel brain directing you right now? How's it controlling things? How's your subconscious, the horse, controlling you right now? And it might be like, I'm rebelling, or I'm avoiding dealing with what's difficult because it feels painful, or I don't want to be challenged with stuff. I just want things to be easy. How is brain directing you? How is your subconscious directing you in your business? Rebel brain is just an example of one area. But your brain is probably directing you in your business in some way, shape, or form, and not in a positive way. How is survival brain directing you? And you're like, yeah, that's not great. Avoid distraction. Yes. Focusing on fear, insecurities. I'm not getting enough certainty, Brandon. And so I'm focused on all the uncertainty. And that's how brain's directing me. So I'm fine. And it's like, yeah, no wonder. No wonder you're not impacting more people. No wonder you're not making a bigger income. We're letting this really powerful tool direct you. The brain is a very, very powerful tool, but it wants what for you? Survival. First and foremost, it does not want happiness. It does not want success. It wants survival. How's survival brain directing you? And you're thinking, oh gosh, yeah, okay. Why am I not directing my own brain? Well, think about being on the back of the horse. The horse is running around, you're flailing, holding on. Oh, I hope I don't fall off. And it's like, wait, how am I directing the horse? How am I in control? As long as brain is directing you, you will play it safe. You will not take risks. You will not do what will make massive shifts in your business. You have to direct brain. And it simply sounds like this: brain, I need you on board. Some of you have heard me say that multiple times. Write that down. Brain, I need you on board. We're headed this way. I need you on board. Now, does that mean you're going to need to learn how to operate your subconscious? Yeah. It means you got to be aware. What are all the things that you're not following through with right now? What are all the things you're telling yourself to do that you're not following through with? And then meet survival brain. Meet rebel brain. Rebel brain says, don't make phone calls, Diane. It's going to be a lot of phone calls and follow up, right? Consistency. Yeah. What else is it? What are you not following through with? What are you telling yourself to do that you're not following through with? At least not on a consistent basis. Getting out and meeting new people. Yes. Following up with prospects. Follow up. Following up's critical. Creating more personal events. Yes. You guys got it? You know the stuff? Stop doing what I'm doing too long and do the next thing. Okay. Yeah. Priority planning. Ooh, salad. That's good. These are all the things. Survival brain. Rebel brain. It's controlling things. The horse is controlling your ride. You got a direct brain. You're like, okay, how do I do it? One way is focus, physiology, and language. How else? It's really simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. One of the simplifications around this is to recognize that your brain just wants to avoid what's hard. My brain wants to do what's easy. It wants to do what's simple. It doesn't want to take bold risks. It doesn't want to do things that are uncomfortable. That's it. We have a crisis in the world today. We have a big crisis. And the biggest crisis we have is what we call the comfort crisis. And it's just requiring so much comfort. It's requiring so much certainty in our lives. Brain wants comfort and security. And you got a direct brain. And you got to do what's difficult. And you got to do what's hard. You direct brain. How many of you negotiate with your brains? Anybody negotiate? Play a little negotiation game? Brain's like, don't go do this today. And you're like, brain, we said we're going to do it. Come on, let's take action. And brain's like, nah, it's too cold, or it's too hot, or it's too dull, or I'm too tired, or take a break. And you're like, no, brain, I got to take my business serious. I know I paid this money and this time to go be with Brandon and engage in this activity, and I got to take it serious and do my business today. And brain goes, it's probably not a great idea. Like, remember, take it easy, just chill. Like, is it going to make a difference anyway? Brain, come on, you negotiate. How many of you are good negotiators? And you get sick and tired of negotiating. That's why you got to get brain on board. Brain, I need you on board. I'm not negotiating. I need you on board with what I want. I want success, or I want to make an impact. And I need you on board with this. And it means doing what's hard. It means taking risks. It means being bold. You're going to see your brain show up in all sorts of scary ways, or where it gets scared. You're going to see it show up in all sorts of survival ways this week. Rebel is just one way. Fear is another. Fear is another. Fear runs us. Fear runs most of us on a day-to-day basis. What are you afraid of doing in your business? What are you afraid of doing? Or what stresses you out in your business? Because I know for you, overachievers, stress and fear, pretty much the same thing. When you're in stress, you're just saying, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of something. I'm afraid of being successful. I'm afraid of failing, or I'm afraid of not doing it right, or I'm afraid of, there's all sorts of things. Yeah. Heidi, leading. What are you afraid of in your business? Because this is where you're going to meet your fear on the road of trials. Some of you are like, I made a decision. Let's go make my business happen. Wait, why is fear showing up? This must be God telling me that this isn't right for me. No, this is where you go meet the road of trials. When you say yes to your business, this is where fear will show up. Fear is the price we pay. Fear, if you do not experience fear, you're on the wrong path. If it's just easy and simple and there's no fear, it's like wrong path, wrong path. If you have a goal right now in your business and it does not scare you and it is not unsettling and there's not a lot of uncertainty, you have the wrong goal. If you just created a goal that you know you're going to hit, you know what's going to happen, and it's just easy and simple, you got the wrong goal. If you set a goal, it's like, oh, I'm going to get to QSC, or I'm going to get to SC, whatever that level is for you, right? NMD. I don't know. If it doesn't scare you, it's wrong goal. It's wrong goal. It should scare you. It should frighten you. Whatever goal you have that you put yesterday, that however many people you want to impact, double it. How much money do you want to make? When you put that down, double it. Oh, Brandon, that's scary. Yeah, good. Because that's part of taking the hero's path, is doing what is fearful. And knowing who are your opponents. Next part of your worksheet is, who or what are your opponents in your business? Who are your opponents? I'm curious. Tell me who you think your opponents are. Who are your opponents? Your opponents are, who are your opponents? Myself. Be careful, guys. It's not you. Survival brain. You're not your opponent. It's your survival brain. Yeah, Doreen, it's survival brain. It's not you. You're like, Brandon, that is part of me. I agree. It is part of you. Who else are your opponents? All the naysayers, all the people that don't support you, yes, they're your opponents. Your fear, your insecurities, your worries, yes, those are your opponents. Your childhood wounds, you're like, really? My childhood? Absolutely. Your core wounds are your opponents. Fear of abandonment, fear of failure, fear of distrust. I mean, those are all core wounds. Are those going to show up? Probably. Really? My core wounds are going to show up in my business? Absolutely. When you take on something challenging and hard, your biggest fears are going to show up. Good. Now you know you're on the road of trials. You know you're on the right place. Hard stuff's going to show up. Your opponents are going to come out from everywhere. Good. You know you're on the right path. How many of you have heard this saying? When things get hard, you know you're on the right path. When things get difficult, you know, oh, this is the right path. If they're too easy, you're on the wrong path. How many of you are like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of myself today. You should have seen me, Brandon. I scrolled through social media for a half hour. I was so proud of myself. How many are like, no? But how many are like, I picked up the phone and I called a bunch of people today and I booked a bunch of appointments and I went out and did that. And I'm proud of myself for that. And that was probably hard, easier than you thought, but it was hard to get going. How many of you went and worked out today this morning, went and exercised? And you're like, dang, it's hard to do it every day. And you're proud of yourself for it. We're proud of ourselves for the hardest things we do, which builds our self-esteem. So doing what's hard is actually good. That's getting out of the comfort crisis. I'm going to ask you to get out of your comfort zone numerous times this week. And I know it's kind of an old cliche, get out of your comfort zone, but like, what are you afraid of? And who are your opponents in your business? And getting clear about that. What have you been, what is it that you've been avoiding that you may be afraid of doing? Social media, going live. What have you been avoiding? Because you're a little bit afraid of it. Maybe it's meeting with a coach, come and doing this program. Maybe that's something you've been afraid of. I don't know. We talked to Alina yesterday. I was like, oh, what does she do when she's a runner? She hires a coach. What do I ask all of you to do? Hire a coach. Doesn't have to be me, but it's got to be somebody. If you want to take your business to another level, it's time to get coaching. Here it is. You're here. Yes. What are you afraid of that you've been avoiding? Be afraid of. And what are the emotions that make up that fear? Worry. Doreen, what is it about presentations? What's the emotion that comes up for you around doing presentations? Or Nancy, around tech? The things that you're fearful of in your business that you've been avoiding, what are the emotions that show up? Insecurity? I'm not good enough? I might fail? Frustration? Okay, what else? What are the emotions that arise? What are the emotions that make up that fear? What are you avoiding? Fear of failure, judgment, frustration. Yes, here we go. Good. Judgment. Yes. This is good. What's the emotion that's driving it? Because until you're clear about the emotion, you keep avoiding it. Rejection. Susie, 100%. Shame. Diane. Oh, man. Thank you. Yes. Yes. What's the emotion? Because that's what you're really afraid of. It's not the actual thing. It's the emotions that these things create. So let's get clear. I'm afraid of experiencing shame or failing or being rejected. Get clear. I do not like rejection. I despise it. I will do everything I can to not feel rejected. That includes calling all of you, inviting you to something. Come join me in this 5-day thing. Oh, I don't want to, and people are going to reject me. Oh, come join me in our new NMD program. And we're going to do this and this. My people are going to reject me more than are going to say yes. Anxiety, absolutely, Susan. Let me avoid this because it makes me feel anxious. And I just want to feel comfortable. I've been slammed by others. Yes. How many of you have built a team and some of those team left? Some of those team worked against you or were mean to you in some way. And you're like, I'm not building another team. Look what happens. People are mean. People check out. People disappear. People leave when it gets hard. And that hurt. So I'm not doing it again. That's what you're afraid of. You're afraid of those feelings, people leaving. Listen, when people leave your business, it feels like an abandonment. I'm not here to tell you that just get over it. It hurts physically. Brain's like, don't do that. But if you don't, then you're not making the impact. And if you don't, then you're not creating the influence. And then you're playing less than. So what am I saying? It's going to hurt. But the biggest thing is the fear. It's not the actual thing that happens. So your fear of people leaving is actually greater than people leaving. There's more pain in the fear of it than it actually happening. I can tell you, I faced my biggest fear, cancer. Cancer was getting sick and getting some disease. That was my biggest fear. Actually getting cancer and getting the diagnosis, that was hard. But I got to tell you, my fear for years and years and years and years was way more painful because I'm dying 1,000 deaths. Every time you're afraid, you're letting the fear come inside of your body. You're only going to die once. And, you could say, Brandon, that's not true. Like my father-in-law died for, 28 seconds when he had his heart attack. So, okay, maybe he's going to die twice, but you know what I mean, right? So you're only going to have people leave when they leave. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to have people leave over and over again. You are, but the fear of worrying about them leaving is way more challenging than them actually leaving. The fear of being rejected is way more challenging than being rejected. And it's our fear that holds us back. So you can be like one of two creatures on this planet. You can be like a cow or a buffalo when it comes to fear. And you guys know this. Some of you know this. How does a cow handle fear? Well, if we look at a fear as a storm, right? A big storm's coming in, and cows look at the storm and go, oh, storm, scary, run the opposite direction. What happens when the cow runs the opposite direction? They're in the storm longer. Cows die in storms. Farmers are, those of you that have cows or grew up as farmers or know this, farmers are very frightened of storms because cows die in storms. Well, no wonder they stay in them longer. They run from them. When you run from a storm, what happens? Storm's coming, you're running from it, stay longer in it. How are you staying in your fear? How are you staying in the storm longer? By running from the fear. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to feel it. Oh, fear, fear, fear. Let me run away from it. It's scary. Rejection, rejection. Oh, don't call people. Don't do this. You're running from it, so you stay in the storm longer. And you might even die in the storm. You're certainly exhausted. Cows have heart attacks. They're exhausted. They're drained. Well, no wonder when you're running constantly in the storm, what do buffalo do? The difference between a buffalo and a cow, you see a difference, right? There's a very physical difference. What do buffalo do? They walk towards the storm. They don't run. They walk. They walk into the storm. Here's why. Buffalo know when they walk into the storm, they're going to be in the storm a lot less. If I walk into it and move towards the fear, I'm in the storm less. Get out of it faster. Is it painful in the storm? Yeah. Is it hard? Yeah. But I'm in it a lot less. For you to be able to have the visual of the storm ahead of you, and it's all the fear, and to be able to go bring on the fear, it makes me stronger. It makes me better. It gives me all my greatest experiences. What are your greatest experiences in your life? Greatest experiences. What are they? What are your greatest experiences, guys? Anybody jump out of an airplane? Greatest experience? Anybody give birth? Greatest experience? What are your top 3 greatest experiences? Yeah, Susie, giving birth, having children, my wedding, marrying my husband. Yeah, having my son. Those are mine. Walking on stage as an NMD. Yes. What else? Childbirth, skydiving, RVing full time, Diane. Yes. Anybody take their family on some adventure where like I know a woman who went sailing for, she spent a year sailing around the world with her family, sold their house, did everything. I mean, soloed in an airplane, hiking in New Zealand. Yeah. Moving to another state. Yes. Yes. A mission trip to Cambodia. Reaching the top of the mountains. Yes, yes, yes. Parasailing. What do all these things have in common, guys? They're all scary. They all had uncertainty. You look at the fear and you go, bring it on. It makes me better and stronger. My greatest experiences. Greatest experiences are the things that are the most fearful. So if it scares you, good. You're on the right path. If it doesn't scare you, you're on the wrong path. If it's simple and basic and easy. Greatest experiences. Yes. All fearful. All had scary stuff. All had uncertainty. Your success in your business today is in direct proportion to how much uncertainty your survival brain is willing to tolerate. Your success in your business today is in direct proportion to how much uncertainty your survival brain is willing to tolerate. And I'm going to ask you to do some scary things over these 5 days. I'm going to ask you to step into fear. It makes you stronger. It makes you better. All your greatest experiences are. What do you want to be, a buffalo or a cow? Walk into fear. It's simply seeing the fear out there and saying, I'm going to step into it voluntarily. They might reject me. They probably will. They might judge me. They probably will. No one's going to judge you as hard as you judge yourself, by the way. No one. You judge yourself 10 times harder than anybody else. So you think everybody judges you like you judge you. No, it's not true. It's not. When I learned that, I set myself free. I'm like, Michelle doesn't judge me like I judge myself. Oh my gosh, you kidding me? That's pretty awesome. If I thought she judged me like I judge myself, I'm constantly worried about my marriage. Because I'm like, oh my goodness, if she judges me like that, how am I ever going to get things right? I'm never going to get this relationship right. But my wife doesn't judge me like I judge me. What does anybody else in your life? So listen, fear is the real deal, but it makes you better and stronger when you face it. Now, one of the things I want to make sure we're clear about today, and we get to, this is really empowering. And some of you have done this with me in the past. Some of you haven't, but I want you right now to pull out your worksheet and right here where we have emotions. It says, what are emotions? We have two sets of emotions. Now, some of you have done this with me, right? Some of you have been lengthy with this. And if you're a part of our ELP, you've done this with me. You dug in deep with this. This is critical because emotions are what run us. Emotions are our fuel. What I'm going to have you do today is I just want you to get clear about what are the emotions that run you. Normally, when I ask people, normally when I ask women, I say, how many emotions do you think you have? And they're like, millions. And I'm like, all right. And then I ask men, how many emotions do you have? And they're like, two, good and bad. So it's usually there's an extreme from the feminine and masculine, right? But how many emotions do you think you have on a daily basis? 6 to 12 are really all we have. The same 6 to 12 emotions. Now, over a week and a year, yes, you have a lot more emotions. There are 3,000 words to describe emotions in the English language. But on a day-to-day basis, you're having the same 6 to 12 emotions every day. And they're what's running everything. These emotions. We have what are called moving towards emotions, emotions we want to feel, and moving away from emotions, emotions we don't want to feel. Here's how you find out what they are. On your worksheet right here, it says moving towards emotions. It's important in life for me to feel. What's it important in life for you to feel? Happy, joyful, loving, loved, honest, kind, successful. It's important in life for you to feel what? You just make a list. Success, beautiful, heard, understood, respected, like I'm an impact, passion, inspirational. What are they for you? There's so many emotions. How about safe, certain? It's important in life for you to feel what? What are the emotions that you want to experience on a day-to-day basis? This is your fuel. Look at them. These are your emotions that are driving you. This is what you want to feel. This is the positive motivation that's driving you. I want to feel these things. And if you want to be, if you want money, it's because you want one of these things, these emotions. If you want to become an NMD, it's because you want these emotions. You don't want to be an NMD because you just want to be an NMD. You don't want pieces of paper with dead presidents on them, or if you're in Canada, dead kings and queens, or whatever your monetary system is. You don't want just the pieces of paper. You want the emotions they're going to give you. These are the emotions you want. So let's get clear. This is what's driving you. This is what you're wanting. This is what you're running towards. It's these emotions. Brandon, I just want to be loved. It's why you'll work your business and hustle your business like crazy, because you're wanting to be loved, or you're wanting to be inspirational, or you're wanting to make an impact, or you're wanting joy, or these are what you, this is what you're after. And then there's another set of emotions moving away from. I'll do almost anything to avoid feeling what? And these are all the things you talked about earlier that you're afraid of. Rejection, judgment, anxiety, stress, frustration, failure, abandoned, suffering. What will you do almost anything to avoid? Physical pain. What are the things you'll do almost anything to avoid? And notice this is what's running you as well. I'll do anything to avoid physical pain. Every time I pick up the phone and call somebody, I feel physical pain because I might get rejected. I'll do anything to avoid being judged, but every time I'm around other people, I feel like I'm being judged. Stay at home. Watch Netflix. You get no judgment from Netflix. Netflix and a glass of wine does absolutely zero judgment. So let me do that. No wonder. You're avoiding feeling these emotions. And most of you, when you work your business, you're experiencing these emotions. And you wonder why you're avoiding running your business. It's because it brings up these emotions. Am I right? And a big one in here is fear. Now you want to get clear, fear of what? Because fear is very general. So fear of rejection, fear of, yes. Nancy, I better put my big girl pants on. No, give yourself some grace here. Come on. Give yourself some grace. Don't go into judgment. Don't beat yourself up. Don't let the critics start criticizing you here. Give yourself some grace here. You're learning some things. But these are the things you're avoiding on a day-to-day basis, these emotions. This is what's guiding you. This is what's running you. These moving towards and moving away from. I want things so I can get these and avoid these. But let me ask you, aren't these the 6 to 12 emotions? If you look at the top 6 in both areas, aren't these the ones you're experiencing day to day? You're like, I'm avoiding feeling this, but I sure do feel it every day. I'm avoiding feeling judged, but I feel judged. I'm avoiding feeling failure, but I feel failure. I'm avoiding feeling scared, but I feel scared. These are the emotions that are fueling us. These are the things that are running us. And I'm going to let you in on a little surprise here. You make it easy to feel bad and you make it hard to feel good. You make it easy to feel the moving away from emotions and you make it hard to feel the moving towards because you set up what are called rules. And your rules are just your definitions of these emotions. I'll feel successful if this and this and this and this and this happens. If everybody says yes and my business is doing well and everybody's happy, I feel success. Made up a rule. I'll feel failure anytime somebody says no, or anytime somebody doesn't say yes, or anytime somebody's not excited to see me, or. We make it easy to feel bad. It's the craziest thing. Your brain makes it easy to feel bad, makes it hard to feel good, because it puts rules on things. What do I tell people to do? Change your rules. Brandon, you can't just change your rules. Oh, yeah, you can. I'll feel successful if I'm above ground 5 feet 11 inches. Really, you're going to let yourself feel that? You're going to feel successful and you're going to let it be that easy? Why wouldn't I? I want to feel successful. And if I feel successful, I'll do what a successful person does. I'll only feel failure if I completely give up. What's give up? Suicide. If I commit suicide, I've given up. Otherwise, I don't fail. I make mistakes, but I learn and there are opportunities to grow. But I'm not failing. I just create new rules. I make it hard to feel bad and I make it easy to feel good. Now, do you think brain doesn't fight me on this? I negotiate with brain all the time. You can't just make stuff up, Brandon. I just did. We've had these same rules for years. We don't just get rid of them today. Brain, I need you on board. Get on board with our new rules. But shift your old ways of thinking and your old rules about these emotions and create new ones. Now, I know I've given you a lot in a short period of time and we're out of time on digging into this. We'll dig into more detail in the VIP lab for sure. But here's what I do want you to do. For those that aren't joining us in the VIP lab, If you are, it's in your links there. And you can always register for the VIP lab. It's 97 bucks today. Like I told you it was, it is. But you can still come and join us. And Pam, if you'll put the link up there, they can still register for the VIP lab. So put that link up there for them, if you will. But it's not 37 anymore, it's 97. But I want you guys to recognize, so we'll take in this we'll dig into this deeper in the VIP lab. But for those of you who aren't joining us, here's what I want you to do. I want you to get clear about the 6 emotions that are moving you and the six emotions you're moving towards and the 6 emotions you're moving away from. Pick the top 6 and notice, what are the rules around these emotions? You'll feel these emotions if or when what? That's your goal for today. Get clear about what your emotions are and how they're running you, and what emotions are running you, and how you allow yourself to feel these emotions based on the rules you place on yourself. Cool? We clear? Clear as mud? It's all in your worksheets. It's all in your worksheets. Do the work. Step into, be a buffalo. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for day 3, which is the 3rd step on the hero's path, the abyss. We must all look at the abyss. So I'm excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be massive. Big, 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 big. We'll see the rest of you in the VIP lab in 1 minute. Have a good day, guys. Take care.